have long to live. I'll talk more about temptation in another sermon in the series, but we all know the feeling of something out there luring us into sin. Silly as the idea may be, intellectually, we often experience evil and sin as something that comes from the outside. So no wonder that the idea of the devil is so common, not only in the Abrahamic faith, you can find it among Buddhists and Hindus and various folk traditions. I want to believe that behind or beneath the idea of this outside evil force is something worth pondering, something worth considering. Not the person with the contract to sell your soul, no. The notion that evil is not solely, purely something internal, that it can be out in the world too, that context and circumstance can shape our moral choices. This is what Reinhold Niebuhr was trying to teach us, that even innocent people, good people, can be immoral in groups. In fact, his most notable book, Moral Man and Immoral Society, teaches the notion that we can, we can as individuals be quite good, but when in groups we can find ourselves being pulled into ignoble ends. To give an example, consider Stephen Crane's Red Badge of Courage, a book I finally read last year that portrays battle quite realistically, but not in a gruesome way. Here's a passage. Those in blue showed their teeth, their eyes shone all white. They launched themselves as at the throats of those who stood resisting. The space between them dwindled to an insignificant distance. The swirling body of blue men came to a sudden halt at close and disastrous range and roared a swift volley. The group in gray was split and broken by the fire, but its riddled body still fought. The men in blue yelled again and rushed in upon it. You can see the scene in your eyes quite vividly. But under any other circumstances, this would be a crime, mayhem, murder. But in war, it is both normal and heroic. A group can forgive any sin and teach us that what we could not do morally before, we can do eagerly, even yelling and screaming, and feel grateful for the opportunity. But not just war. Those who know Lord Acton knows about his warning about the corruptions of power. Those who have been to the movies know about Victor Hugo's fictional Valjean, who spends years in jail for pilfering a loaf of bread. And both of these remind us that poverty and wealth can shape our moral vision. So can race, gender, class, nation, religion. All the goodness we can do as individuals can be drawn to one side by a group of people large enough, loud enough, persuasive enough to make us think that only white or male or straight or Christian or American people have rights. We all know that we are unable to resist the urges of our context. So no, there's no devil or demon lurking in the wings, no one trying to get us to sign our lives away, but there in the world itself, in the way that we can convince ourselves, oh yes, it's all right, we're all in it together. Suddenly, nations themselves lock people up because they just don't like them. Thus, even though all of us have the moral fortitude to tell ourselves, yes, we can resist ideologues and demagogues and governments, we say it while we still light up and drink up and eat up. Oh, what harm can one more do? A favorite poem of mine, which I've cited before, which means if I stay here long enough, you will have it memorized, and that will make you a greater person, is the second epistle by Alexander Pope, a British 18th century writer who describes human beings as, quote, a being darkly wise and rudely great. Notice the contradiction. Darkly wise, rudely great. Of all the things I have believed over the years that have changed, this one has changed the least. We are not depraved, but neither are we saved. We are, as Shakespeare put it in Hamlet, crawling between heaven and earth. This in-betweenness is, as Alexander Pope puts it, the glory, jest, and riddle of human nature. If liberal religion is to endure, to prosper, to succeed, it needs to honor the riddle as much as the glory, a place that Niebuhr and Hannah Arendt and others explored in the wreckage of our last century. Our journey starts, though, in the 19th century, when next week I take Joseph Conrad to task, or he takes me to task, as we explore the heart of darkness. We're going to spend a lot of time with evil this season. Let's have some fun, shall we? See you in church. Let's have a hymn, shall we? I have to remember which one it is. I get so wrapped up in the sermon, I forget what I'm supposed to do next. I get here on the paths of every day. It's an upbeat sermon, but it's also one about making choices, about our capacity to do the right thing together. Hi, you want to go over there? Cool. Here on the path of every day, it's a great hymn, only has 2 verses, so we'll be out of here quick, okay? Hear these words of James, the brother of Jesus, who wrote, "Be doers of the word and not merely hearers, those who look into the perfect law, the law of liberty, and persevere, being not hearers who forget, but doers who act, for they will be blessed in their doing." So go forth and do the good that you know you can do. And if you do not get it all done today, you can do more tomorrow, because this day and every day is the day which the Lord has made. Let us ever rejoice and be glad in it. Amen.